This gun lights your firemen, the pilot lights out.
This football team is coming into our place. We're standing in our way.
This is a game of the heart. Focus and finish.
Not a whole lot of worthwhile fantasy news to report since yesterday's teams are tightening up and getting ready for week 1. But while the news flow may have subsided, viewer questions and concerns have not. And one of the most interesting concerns I've been getting is about the first player taken in nearly every league across the nation, Adrian Peterson. So, what's wrong with all day? Well, nothing really. He looks totally healthy and better than ever. The problem is with his lead blocker, fullback Jerome Felton. Now, Felton has to serve a 3-game suspension to open the season relating to his arrest on a DUI charge at a McDonald's drive-thru in June of 2012. Peterson averaged an amazing 6 yards per carry last season, but he averaged 6.9 yards per carry when Felton was on the field leading the way, and just 4.6 yards per carry without Felton as his lead blocker. That's less than a number of featured backs, including C.J. Spiller, Jamal Charles, Marshawn Lynch, Alfred Morris, and Frank Gore. So should Peterson owners be concerned after taking him number 1? Well, Felton was Peterson's lead blocker on 201 of his 348 carries last year. It's just about 58%. So for the first 3 weeks, if he sees not piling up 200 yards rushing every week, you might understand why. But it's not like he's going to get shut down. Even at 4.6 yards per carry, subtracting over 450 yards from his total, Peterson would have rushed for 1,647 yards, which would have still given him the league rushing title. So if you do the math, Felton's absence from the field should amount to about 30 yards per game less you can expect from Peterson. And depending on when those 30 yards come from on the field, it's probably more of an issue for the Vikings than for fantasy owners. Is it a difference maker? Sure. A fantasy disaster? No. As for actual player news of note, it's thin, but here's what we got. Pierre Garcon has declared his troublesome foot issues to be resolved and says he's 100%. He's a wide receiver 2, but definitely has wide receiver 1 upside in the Redskins' wide open offense. If you've been losing sleep wondering who the best play in the Jets' backfield for week 1 is, there you are. For what it's worth, Bilal Powell is listed as number 1 on the depth chart, and Chris Ivory is listed as number 2. Not sure if that's actionable, but it's what we got. Baltimore tight end Ed Dickson has been battling hamstring problems throughout the preseason, but seems ready to go in tomorrow night's opener. Now, a word of caution. I know there are many people expecting quite a bit from him in Dennis Pitta's absence, but I think you're in trouble if he's your week 1 starter. I don't see him getting more targets than a tight end number 2. Houston's highly touted rookie wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins passed his concussion test and will play in Sunday's opener against the Chargers. I like it. And Trent Richardson owners should be happy, as the old ball coach said that he intends to leave Richardson on the field as much as possible, including all 3rd down and 2-minute drill packages. Now, if the coach would just tell fantasy owners that Trent will be healthy all year, you're on to something. The NFL starts tomorrow night, folks. All the build-up, anticipation, hype, it's here. Be sure to tune in to the Roto Experts Fantasy Football News, Notes, and Analysis segment every weekday. I'll be here to keep you current and ahead of the competition, and on weekends, come back for This Week in Fantasy Football as I team up with the King, Scott Engel, covering the week that was, the week that will be, and answering your viewer questions. For Roto Experts, I'm Mike Cardano. See you tomorrow.